Hey guys, the Blind Fates here. I just got home from work and I couldn't sleep, so I thought what better to do than to do a quick review of the Mice and Men's new album, Restoring Force. Um, this album has actually had quite a lot of hype, and they've been advertising it everywhere, um, and it has quite a big shoe to fit, with The Flood being such a big hit. Practically blowing of Mice and Men like into the center stage, because they definitely did not have that attention during their first, record, which I liked. I think it's just as good. But so this album had quite the shoes to fit, and well, I'm gonna talk about what I think. First off, I have to say that there's going to be two people in almost every situation. There's going to be the people who, one, say like, oh, you guys changed, like, I don't like it, you should have stayed the same. And then there's the other situation where the people are gonna be like, you know, oh, you guys keep putting out the same stuff every album and it's getting old and generic and, so like, it's very hard to please people in the music industry, and I don't think people realize that, but it's true. Um, But anyways, this is one of those albums where I think it's in that situation, and they took the alternative of changing their sound, slightly altering it, and as predicted, people aren't happy about the change. However, I don't think it's a bad change. I actually kind of like it. It took some adjusting. It does sound different, but I was expecting the difference when I heard their album. I mean, their song, "You're Not Alone." I didn't really care for it. I still don't care for that song. But then they released Bones Exposed, which is a much better song. Um, One of the biggest changes that they've made here is the vocals. With Shaylee leaving the band, they've had to find a replacement, and the replacement isn't bad at all. Um, he isn't Shaylee, obviously, but I think he does some really good melodies with his voice, particularly in the song Glass Hearts. There's a part um, in the middle where it just sounds really good. He's saying, like, you never saw the stars fall at your feet, and it sounds really good. And they had the opportunity to build off that, and they didn't. They only did that part once when they could have easily made that the chorus and, like, built off it and made this really awesome song, I think. Um, so that was kind of a disappointment. Um, but the rest of it's really good. He's in Feels Like Forever. That song is really good with the new clean vocalist. I enjoy his voice. I think it's good. I think Shaylee is better off in his own band. Um, he was obviously a great addition to Mice and Men, but he's on a caliber to where he can make his own music and well. And I think of Mice and Men, he needed a bigger spotlight. So I am totally agreeing with him doing his own thing. I think that's fine. As far as the album goes, uh, Austin's screams sound very, very exhausted. Um, I don't know what he's doing with his voice, that's making it sound that way, but um, it doesn't sound too good. It's more hoarse yelling almost, not horse as in the one you ride. Like, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, he's taking on more yelling. It in some songs it sounds kind of like old Linkin Park, like feels like forever. Once again, that song, uh, he sounds like Linkin Park, and it's not bad, but fans are definitely going to have some time adjusting to it. Um, Also, the song "Break Free," he does these yells that are very uh, reminiscent, at least to me, of Bring Me the Horizon, their new album Sempiternal. Um, the sound of the vocals, the vocal harmonies, from like the screaming, yelling, like um, it's very similar. I think Austin might have been inspired by Bring Me the Horizon's new sound, which I don't see why not. It's a good sound, and yeah. Uh, But ultimately, it's a pretty solid record. I mean, there's some really simplistic riffs like uh, public service announcement. That riff, like ba da 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 da. Or I probably have it wrong right now in my head, but it's really simple and it's kind of repetitive and just I don't know. I didn't really like it too much. The first song, obviously lyrically, it's pretty obvious what that's about. His incident where he got imprisoned for 3 nights, and he makes that very clear. Um, Apart from that song, I really like the album lyrically. That song just kind of, I don't know. I didn't really care for it. The last song, Space Enough to Grow, you got your slow song that ends off softly. Um, a lot of people like that one right now. I actually didn't really care for it. It sounded pretty mediocre compared to the rest of the album. My favorites have to be Feels Like Forever, Bones Exposed, Glass Hearts, and I believe Another You is the one I liked. Uh, some songs I didn't really care for. Public Service Announcement, obviously the first one. Would You Still Be There? And You're Not Alone. I didn't really care for those ones too much. Ultimately, I think it's a solid record. I'd give it probably a fair 7 out of 10. Um, I think it's a good addition to Mice and Men's, uh, you know, discography. I don't think like they're ever going to be able to top the Flood, especially with Austin sounding the way he sounds now. The Flood's probably going to be like their White Pony album, like how White Pony was to Deftones. Like after that, everyone just kept comparing Deftones to their White Pony album, and I think that's going to be the case with the Mice and Men. It's just going to be like, how is this on a scale, compared to with the Flood? Is it on par with the Flood? And well, this one's not, but it's still a good record, and still give it a shot. I liked it. Of Mice and Men, Restoring Force. Check it out.